Good afternoon. Today we present the living stations of the cross with a special devotion to Mary, Our Lady of Sorrows, the mother of our Holy Redeemer and our mother. As we travel the way of the cross, think about the scene on the altar from Mary's point of view, seeing her Son, our Savior, suffer and die for us. Dear Jesus, I adore you. I love you and thank you for dying on the cross for me. I wish I could always think of you and remember all that you have done. I get so busy with activities and other things that often I forget. Help me to remember your mother, Mary, the first and best disciple, as my model in bearing sorrow and suffering each day. Today I want to follow you up the hill of Calvary. I want to understand a little better at each station all that it cost you to make me God's child. If I had been the only person in the world, you would have been willing to suffer in just the same way. How you must love me, dear Jesus. Thank you for loving me so much. Please teach me every day to love you more and more. Teach me to turn to you and our Mother Mary when I am sad or suffering. The first station. Jesus is condemned to death. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. Dear Jesus, there you stand a prisoner. Wicked men have said that you must die, but you have done nothing wrong. You have spent your whole life doing good for others. I must always remember that it was for me. You died so that I could go to heaven and be happy with you always. Teach me, dear Jesus, when I am blamed for something, even if unjust, to be silent as you were because I love you and want to be like you. The second station. Jesus is made to carry his cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. Dear Jesus, the cross which they are laying on your shoulders is so heavy. How it must hurt. You are wounded and bleeding. How will you be able to carry it up that steep hill? Teach me to remember that when I sin, it hurts you even more than the heavy cross. The third station. Jesus falls the first time. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. Dear Jesus, you are so weak and tired that you can hardly walk, but the soldiers roughly order you to start on your journey. After a few steps, you stumble and fall, but there is no one to help you or speak to you kindly. I wish I could have been there to tell you that I love you.
The fourth station, Jesus meets his Blessed Mother. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. Dear Jesus, who is this waiting for you, standing close to the place where you must pass? It is your own Blessed Mother who loves you so much. How it hurts her to see you treated so cruelly. She wishes they would do all these things to her instead of to you. The soldiers will not let her say a word. She can only speak to you with her eyes as you pass by. Jesus, teach me to love your Blessed Mother. Remind me that she is here for me in even my most difficult times. The fifth station, Simon of Cyrene helps Jesus to carry the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. Dear Jesus, you are now so weak that you cannot carry the cross alone anymore. The soldiers make a man named Simon help you with it. I wish I had been Simon so that I could have helped you. Teach me to remember that I am helping you now when I show kindness to others for your sake. The sixth station, Veronica wipes the face of Jesus. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. Dear Jesus, your face was covered with dust and blood, and the wicked people had been spitting on you. The blood was trickling down from the crown of thorns on your head and into your eyes when Saint Veronica pushed her way through the crowd. She wiped your face with her veil. To thank her for being so brave, you left the picture of your face there on the veil. Teach me to remember that I must never be afraid to say I belong to you. The seventh station, Jesus falls a second time. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. Dear Jesus, this time you fall more heavily than before, and it is harder to get up. The soldiers push and strike you. They force you to hurry along when you can hardly walk. It frightens me to think how cruelly you are treated. You, my Lord and my God. Teach me to understand what a horrible thing sin is, because to pay for it you suffered so much. The eighth station, Jesus speaks to the women of Jerusalem. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. Dear Jesus, there are some women waiting by the roadside to see you pass. They are so sorry for you that they are crying. You speak to them kindly and tell them not to weep for you, but for them and their children. Many people are going to suffer as punishment for not having believed in you. Teach me to be sorry for my sins, not for fear of being punished for them, but because they hurt you.
The ninth station, Jesus falls the third time. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. Dear Jesus, for the last time you stumble and fall to the ground. Will you ever be able to get up again? The cross crushes you with its weight, and the people around wonder if you are not dead already. But no, once more you climb to your feet and struggle forward up the hill. Teach me never to be discouraged, even if I keep falling into the same sins. Help me to begin again at once, to obey you and to do your will. The tenth station, Jesus is stripped of his garments. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. Dear Jesus, at last you have reached the top of the hill, the place where you are to die. There is a big crowd of people around you. They are laughing at you and calling you wicked names. Your dear mother and your friends cannot get near. The executioner roughly pulls off all your garments and the blood pours down. It is just as if each one of those cruel wounds has been given to you a second time. All the people are looking at you. Teach me to be willing, sometimes, to give up little pleasures and go without things that I want,
because you suffered so much for me. The 11th station. Jesus is nailed to the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
Because by your holy cross you have
Dear Jesus, now they are putting big nails through your hands and feet to fasten you to the cross. It hurts me to prick my finger with a pin. How much more those nails must hurt you. When the executioner tells you to stretch out your hand or your foot, you obey him without saying a word. And I, when I am told to do even some simple little thing, how often I disobey. Teach me to be always obedient, because you were, even when being nailed to the cross.
The 12th station. Jesus dies on the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
because by your holy cross you have
Please kneel. Dear Jesus, you are hanging on the cross and dying. You are dying for me so that I can go to heaven. You are not angry with the wicked men who killed you. You have forgiven them, and you ask your Father to forgive them too. The people are all going away. I think some of them are beginning to be sorry. Your Blessed Mother and your friends are kneeling close by the cross. I wish I had been with them. I would have stayed there to the very end to show how much I love you. Teach me always to forgive anyone who is unkind to me, because you forgave your murderers when you hung, dying on the cross. Please be seated. The 13th station. Jesus is taken down from the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
because by your holy cross you have
Dear Jesus, it is very quiet now around the cross. Everybody has gone away but a few soldiers, your mother, and your friends. Two of your friends bring a ladder, and oh, so slowly and carefully they take you down. They lay you in the arms of your Blessed Mother. Her heart is breaking as she looks at the crown of thorns, the nails, and all your horrible wounds. Teach me to comfort your dear mother now by never hurting you with my sins. The 14th station. Jesus is laid in the tomb. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
Dear Jesus, you are all ready to be laid in the tomb. Your wounds have been washed, and you are wrapped in clean white linen cloth. You must be buried tonight. In a garden close by, which belongs to one of your friends, there is a new tomb cut in the rock. Now you are being carried there. Your Blessed Mother looks at you for the last time. How can she bear to let you go? But in 3 days, dear Jesus, you will rise from the dead, bright and glorious, to go back to heaven, never to suffer any more. Teach me, among the joys of earth, always to remember the joys of heaven. Help me to love you so much that when I die, I shall be happy with you there forever. We hope that you use this time to open your heart and mind to the loving sacrifice of Jesus and to be with Mary in her great sorrow. Please leave the church in respectful silence.